guys, it's Justin at the Schwab Review, and today we're talking about Quantum of Solace, the sequel to Casino Royale, which is a disappointment, to say the least. It's the first Bond film to be a direct sequel. Like, the events of this film take place a second after Casino Royale ends. So it is a direct sequel, and the plot of Casino Royale, what happens in Casino Royale, really affects what happens in Quantum. And I don't have a problem with. It's just a movie is not the best. Put it that way. And it honestly is not as terrible as I think most people make it out to be. But it's definitely not one of the greats. And when I first, actually, the movie's gotten a little bit better over time for me. When I first saw it, I absolutely hated it. Because just picture this. It's 2008. It's been 2 years since Casino Royale. I love Casino Royale. Me and my friend, we watched Casino Royale a million times when it came out on DVD. So we were pumped for Quantum of Solace. We couldn't wait. And we saw it. Opening night. So hyped. I just remember the car ride there just going, ugh. Yeah, that wasn't a good experience. I walked out of the movie actually pretty much hating it. To be honest with you, when I first saw it. It wasn't until it came out on DVD and I watched it again. And I'm like, it's not terrible. Not great at all, but not terrible. So, I'll give a brief kind of gist of the plot, which is not my strong point when it comes to Bond films, but we'll give it a try. The movie takes place right after Casino Royale, and spoiler alert, the girl, the main Bond girl, Vesper, from Casino Royale dies at the end of Casino Royale, and ends up that she was actually a double agent. But her and Bond were in love. So now in this one, he's trying to avenge her death, while also trying to find out more about this organization that was kind of hinted at and shown a little bit in Casino Royale, which actually in this movie kind of turns out to be a much bigger thing. Kind of like how in the old Bond films they had Spectre, which is the main evil corporation run by Blofeld. This is kind of like that, the Quantum organization. And while trying to find out about this organization and everything, it leads him to Dominic Green, who's this big he works with oil and stuff like that, and he has this whole scheme that has to do with oil and stuff like that. And in the process, he runs into who is the main Bond girl, who had a relationship with Green, but also one of the people that Green's dealing with is this general, and this general murdered this girl's family right in front of her, so she's been trying to get revenge on him the whole time. But that's kind of the main theme of this movie is revenge, obviously, because these are the two main people are trying to get revenge. And this is basically just the plot. There's not much to this one. It's the shortest Bond movie. It's only an hour and 40-something minutes, which is kind of surprising, especially considering Casino Royale was 2.5 hours. So it really feels quick. The movie kind of just goes by really fast, and it's just. I think the biggest problem would be the directing, especially when it came to the action scenes. That's the biggest problem. These action scenes are way too frantic, way too much going on. There's there's 3 cuts per second. It's ridiculous. Trying to be almost Bourne-like, and it just doesn't feel like Bond. This is one of the few Bond films where I actually say it really actually doesn't feel like Bond that much. And that's how the film starts with this car chase, which I've heard some people do love it, but I really don't. It's way too choppy. It's, like I said, every few seconds there's a cut. There's a lot going on. And it wasn't that interesting. The only problem is the fact that you can tell that these action set pieces are all really well set up. They're just terribly shot. You can tell this director is not that good when it comes to action scenes. There's a lot of other quieter, more subtle scenes that are actually well directed and well done, but these action scenes are just so frantic and all over the place. I don't match. Another thing is Bond. He's I feel he kills too many people in this movie. I understand people saying it's kind of his character. In this one, he's angry or something like that. But it just kind of got to the part where oh, Bond killed that guy. Oh, that guy too. And to the point where it's almost laughable, laughing at the movie, oh, he's dead. And to me that didn't work too much. That just kept going on and on. And that part didn't work. Now, for the acting, it's all good. Daniel Craig is still a great Bond, still really dark and gritty. But besides him, the rest of the cast is pretty forgettable. Felix Leiter appears in a few scenes, doesn't really do much. They bring back Mathis, who's a character in Casino Royale. He's alright. But the Bond girl is okay. And the Bond villain, I have no real problem with the actor, but it's just the problem, his character's not really that interesting. He's a pretty forgettable villain. There's not much to him. Like, he doesn't have to be like the big, like, Blofeld villain with the giant schemes ever. Doesn't have to, but like, there's nothing real interesting to him. Nothing really memorable. So that was another weak point about this movie. The thing is, the movie is really just a continuation of like Casino Royale. It's just a really good epilogue. For that, it kind of works because there's like seeing a kind of cool epilogue to Casino Royale, but it doesn't work that well on its own. If you're watching it by itself, it's just a movie. It won't work as well. And with that, also the fact that they're trying to like kind of continue off Casino Royale while trying to give it its own Bond story with Green and everything, it just kind of feels weird. Like they're trying to connect it to there, but they're like, oh shoot, we can't make a whole movie out of this, so let's kind of introduce a Bond villain, a Bond scheme, kind of do the Bond formula. So it doesn't like, I don't know, it doesn't mesh as well. It's kind of hard to explain. It just doesn't mesh. Another thing I'll talk about is the gun barrel scene. The gun barrel in Casino Royale was highly original and cool. I thought they were going to do another thing like that, where like it was going to be integrated as part of the scene. But they didn't. They did a classic style gun barrel at the end of the movie. So the ending, so the movie just ends, and then all of a sudden you see the gun barrel. And there's like, it just felt a little bit jarring, kind of out of place. It didn't help that the ending was a much more somber ending. Like he finally the ending just has Bond finally getting over the death of Vesper. And he has this great line where M is just like, Bond, I need you back. And Bond goes, I never left, and he walks away. And you see he drops Vesper's necklace in the snow, and it's a shot of the necklace, and it kind of fades out. Kind of somber, really good ending. But then we cut to this really bombastic Bond theme and the gun barrel. Feels a little jarring, and the gun barrel kind of sucks too. It really feels like they kind of shot it in a hurry. Like they're like, oh shoot, we need a gun barrel, go film it. Because it doesn't work. Bond walks by so fast. It looks like he's in a hurry. It looks like he has to go to the bathroom. Like it's really just dull. And I hope it's something they fix in Skyfall. Because that gun barrel didn't work. The only thing that was cool about it was, for me, the novelty of seeing a classic gun barrel on the big screen. And was seeing Daniel Craig in a normal gun barrel, which we hadn't seen yet. But besides that, that's all kind of come to pass. And it's a dull gun barrel. So aside from the problems, there are a few good things. There's a few good moments, like subtle moments that are really good. That, like I said, like you can tell the action scenes are well choreographed, but just not well shot. So there's kind of a little bit of that. It's not terrible, I'll be honest with you. As much as I've been mostly just saying the problems right now, it's slowly kind of, every time I've only rewatched it like 2 or 3 times since I saw it in theaters. Those times it's gotten a little bit better. It's enjoyable. It's just a mildly enjoyable Bond movie. Not one of the best, but definitely not one of the worst. I won't put, like, there's many more worse Bond films out there that you can like say is worse than this. Another thing I found a little weird, I don't know, they did a homage to Goldfinger with the girl painted gold and she's dead, lying on the bed and dead. They did that except with oil, and I don't know. To me, it doesn't work. It just feels unnecessary. Like, I remember when I saw it in theaters, after seeing that, like, scene, I was kind of just thinking to myself, did I really see that? I don't know, it just feels weird. It doesn't really work that well. It just, I don't know, it's just something I didn't expect to see, and it's like, not pretty useless, but it's kind of just like, hey, let's start with a nod to Goldfinger. And I don't know, that didn't work. There's one cool scene where Bond's being followed by this guy on a motorcycle. And the motorcycle guy stops right in front of Bond, and he whacks the bike from under him, and that's really funny. Great kind of Daniel Craig Bond moment. For the most part, it's an interesting film. There's a lot of problems, but for the most part, it's interesting. Besides the uninteresting characters, it's well acted. I'll say it's well acted. There's some really cool, like, set pieces. There's some good scenes. There's some really good Bond scenes, And yeah, out of 10, I'll go 6 out of 10. Not a terrible movie. It's gotten, like I said, gotten a little better. It's just mildly enjoyable. It just doesn't work as the big follow up to Casino Royale that everybody was waiting for and really hoping. It doesn't work. It doesn't deliver on the action scenes. Doesn't deliver on the action scenes, which are way too Jason Bourne-esque, and just don't mesh with Bond. Just the overabundance of like Bond killing people, which just felt random. It just didn't really feel right. And just overall rushed film. But there's some cool, kind of memorable moments, and just interesting set pieces, and just okay movie. That's about it. This is Justin. Talk to you guys later.